Bri.
Hello.
So, just like we did for Thanksgiving, we're here to do a little Christmas special podcast. So, for this episode, we're going to answer a bunch of questions about our favorite Christmases or Christmas traditions.
Oh boy.
And things like that.
Okay, I didn't know what you were going to talk about.
Exactly, I know.
And I don't know if I'm going to be able to add much to this.
Well, I think it's just really just in the past, present, and future. I'm just asking you questions about what you do or what you liked in the past or something that you remember. That's all.
Okay. Yeah.
You ready?
We'll see. Sure.
All right. First, growing up, did you ever search for presents as a kid for Christmas in the house?
Yes. And I know where I searched specifically.
I do too. I don't know if they're the same because we never searched together.
No, not at all. So where I would search would be, and the only place I really remember looking is in the closet in Mom and Dad's room, where you'd open it up, and when you can't go in too deep before the roof slope would come into play.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I was able to find some wrapped stuff, but I never had the balls to open it or anything. But yeah, I did, and I didn't do it that much, but I do remember doing it.
Okay, I did it a few times.
Okay.
I found in the same exact spot in the closet because they had a long connected closet with sliding doors, but it was small and it was overstuffed, and you could see wrapping paper wrapped things. So we were able to find it. Also, in the basement, they hid things, and our basement when we were kids was easy to go down there and get lost and try and find stuff because it wasn't used really.
Right. Okay.
So we used to find stuff like that. So I always think when my kids were younger, are they going to come trying to find presents? Because I know I was a sneak and I would look for presents. But,
when do you remember? Oh, I was going to. Well, now it makes me want to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Do you remember when you realized that this wasn't? It was a lie.
Oh yeah, it's one of my questions.
Okay, go ahead.
So we can go to that one right now.
I mean,
do you remember when you found out the truth about Santa and how?
It's funny because I don't remember. I really don't.
I know exactly where I was and what happened.
Yeah, because you do have memory. So I'm curious because, I don't remember.
I was at school.
Oh, so that's pretty common. You learn from friends.
And from kids. I was being mocked.
Right.
And it was one of those things where I was a little older. And my
How
parents
old do you
didn't. I definitely was probably a year or two past what I should have known.
Well, would that be what,
and
11?
I think I was talking about Santa. Probably 11 or 12 years old.
Yeah.
What was that, 5th, 6th grade?
Yeah, it's 11's probably 6th grade.
Yeah. So I'm talking about 6th grade-ish where Santa's pretty much done already. The kids are asking their parents for stuff.
Yeah.
And I think I was in a conversation and I mentioned the word Santa and a few of the kids looked at me. So I do remember that specifically. It was one of the hundreds of embarrassing moments in my life at the school. I went to Catholic school as a kid. And,
as a kid, you were at St. Raymond's at that point.
Yeah, St. Raymond's, and it was brutal. I was mocked anyway, but that was another thing that you just mocked me for. So I do remember that.
And I tell you, well, this is going to make me want to talk, but first of all, when Janine, our sister, ended up telling her kids, that's an hysterical story that I wish I could remember or do it any justice. But I know that my youngest now knows, and she was told a few years ago by a neighbor that was, and this is kind of messed up. The neighbor was told since she can remember 3 or 4. That's all BS. So that's kind of shitty when it comes down to now you kind of ruin it for everybody else. You
do ruin it, but it's amazing how much you lie to these kids at the beginning and then you want them to trust you on everything else.
Very true. And I was worried about my youngest being pissed off, but the fact that she was told a few years ago and kind of didn't want to believe it, she now says, I'm so glad that you guys gave me the childhood that other people got to experience. And she's so mature about it. And she's like, I'm so happy that you did it. And I'm so glad that you didn't tell me when I was 4 that it's all BS.
Well, I was in an argument because I wanted to tell my kids at the appropriate age when all their friends already knew and they were about to get ridiculed horribly, and I was trying to save them from the embarrassment I had as a kid.
Yeah, makes sense.
But the funny thing is, when I finally told my son the first time, it was, he's not real. It's just a story. And the parents are the ones who do it to keep the tradition alive and everything. And it took him a couple of minutes and he saw his eyes light up because he's like, what about the Tooth Fairy and the Easter Bunny? Right. And you're just like, what?
Yeah.
Yes, that's it.
Exactly.
That's it. Everything. So you've been lying to me about everything.
So they kind of get pissed.
They
at
got
you?
it. No, they didn't get pissed. They just, you saw the shock and
Yeah.
awe in their face. Like, there is no, I mean, come on. There's no Harry Potter. Disney movies are fake.
Right.
There's no
right.
Frozen. And
Yeah.
there's no Santa and Easter Bunny.
So my middle one was asking questions at 5 and 6, and I didn't want to answer it. I'm like, listen, man, listen. If I was basically saying, if you don't listen, if you don't believe, I don't know about the presents. Like, I don't know what I was saying, but I'm like, well, we'll just have to wait and see. And she was very suspicious. And then the other one was actually impressed. He was just like, oh, whoa, okay,
Yeah.
look at that. Like, he was like impressed by the lie.
Yeah, it could go either way.
Yeah.
You know, there can also be a little bit of resentment there. They're pissed off. Like, why did you tell me I was having such a great life? I
Right.
thought all these things.
Yeah.
Okay, we're on to the next question. But I had that question already before you thought of it. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought it up. What's the best gift you ever got as a child? Do you remember Christmas morning?
Okay, I got 2.
Okay.
All right. One was Crisscross Crash. The fact that it was rare for me to ask for something and actually get that something, not a different version of it, not like.
We grew up at the same house.
Right, of course
I
we
understand
did.
what
Yes,
you're saying.
right. So
we
yeah.
had knockoffs.
Exactly.
That's just the way we grew up.
Yeah,
We were
which
in
is fun.
that was our financial bracket, and that was
Yeah,
it. So
and that was
if
fun.
you asked for something, you're not sure what you got. It might have been a similar thing.
Yeah.
But that was it. So yes.
So that was the one. But there was one year I got a bike. Now, even though that bike wasn't the bike I wanted, which was a Diamondback or a Mongoose, right? I ended up getting whether it was a TSS special or whatever the hell. It was called the Excalibur. That was the bike.
I do remember the bike.
It was a chrome bike. It had Excalibur sticker going down there. I tell you, the bike, I'll give mom and dad credit. The bike looked cool, right? It could pass if you were riding by somebody fast. You'd be like, hey, that guy's got a bike. That's not a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Took off that sticker the first, the next day,
You
you
peeled it
couldn't
right
see
off.
what it was. Peeled it right off.
off.
But that was a big deal because that's the first time I ever think I ever got a bike
Right.
that I can remember. And I was a teenager.
I remember your bike.
Okay.
I do remember it. I think the best gift, I got a few of them that I remember because at a certain point I was working, I was delivering newspapers just to make money and this and the other thing, and I bought my own stuff. So Christmas was just clothes and miscellaneous things. But I got a boombox, and it was an old, big boombox. It was a giant boombox. I didn't expect it that big.
Yeah.
It had I could record on cassettes in the middle. I could listen to the radio stations to try and record the songs I wanted.
Yeah.
And it was huge. It wasn't a great brand, but it was
Probably
a monster.
Sanyo. Was it Sanyo?
No, it was an Emerson, I believe.
Emerson, yes, that would be another one. I swear, I think I remember that one.
I think it came from consumers, and if anybody knows consumers, you get some cheap stuff out of a catalog, and you wait for it, you go order it.
That was an experience.
It was a
Consumers
wild
cool,
place.
man.
Yes, so I do remember that boombox, but I hated the name on it because a lot of my friends had the Sonys
Oh yeah.
and the JVCs,
Oh yeah.
and I had the Emerson.
The old man's boombox.
Yeah, so I took a bunch of bumper stickers and I cut them up into letters and I put stickers on them on the speakers, and I was like an idiot, like fresh and cool. It was so bad. It was so bad, but I do remember that. And the other thing, I asked for roller skates to play roller hockey, and I got roller skates. I got black skates with yellow stripes on them. They look like Vans, high-top Vans and skates. They were like disco roller skates. Now, I had to go play roller hockey in these disco skates.
Well, that's when you get creative and you like cover those stripes with.
I black magic markered them out.
Yes, of course.
I did. I
Yeah,
black
yeah.
magic marketed them out.
How old were you with these presents? So you were working if you got the boombox. You said I was working. So like
No,
you had
no,
to be-
I was working later. That present that I got for Christmas, I was probably 12.
Okay, because you were, and at that point you were working because you
I
had
was,
a
but
paper
that was
route.
but that was a present that I remember getting.
Yeah.
I didn't buy that for myself.
Got it.
And the skates I didn't buy myself either because I wouldn't buy myself black skates with yellow
Yeah.
stripes on them.
I just wanted to know what age you were.
Yeah,
'cause
I was
thought
young.
you were
I was-
like 14 or 15 when you got it, because I was probably 13 when I got the bike, and there was no Santa at that point.
Right. I was 11 or 12, and I did get it from Santa, and my skates were like 2.5 sizes too big for me, so I had to stuff socks in the front. But
They lasted
it was,
for a while.
They lasted for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody knew me by those skates going down the street, my hockey stick and my black and yellow skates. Next question. Did you ever do Elf on the Shelf?
No, we didn't do Elf on the Shelf, but
Not as a kid, for your kids.
yes, and you know what elf I used?
No.
The one that I had as a child that was an ornament. I still have that
I know
elf.
that ornament. That creepy ornament
And guess
scares
what?
me.
That is what the other elf on the shelves look
You're
like.
right.
It's the same thing. And that is what my kids used. Whatever ones, I swear, I don't really remember the two older ones doing it, but I know this youngest one did, and I'm sure they did too. But I don't know. Elf on the Shelf kind of came back 15 years ago. Like, I don't remember it being a thing.
Yeah, it wasn't for us as kids.
No.
But I did it for my kids. I was just wondering if you did it.
Yeah.
Your Elf on the Shelf was awesome then because it was a tiny little, that was a small ornament. It was tall and long, but it was skinny and small.
It
You
was
could
skinny
stick it in things. The Elf on the Shelf that I had was a little bit bigger. And the worst part about doing the Elf on the Shelf as a parent is, oh crap, I fell asleep early and forgot to move the elf.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and what was the excuse? You guys must have been bad yesterday. The
That
elf
was
didn't
what
want to
you'd
move.
say?
That's what I would say. Because what do? I can't say, oh, the elf didn't move. I couldn't give it away. I was so bad. I said, you guys really didn't behave yesterday. He was watching you, or you touched him, didn't you? You touched the elf because you can't touch the elf.
Oh, God.
I was a shit parent.
Yeah, my ex, she would give other excuses, but it wasn't blaming the kids.
No, I blame the kids. Be
Yeah.
careful. Don't touch him again. You get cold.
And now my
And then the
daughters,
kids would fight to say, who touched them? Which one of you touched them?
oh God, you would just start fights.
I know, it's great.
All right.
Next question. Do you wrap presents, get them wrapped, or at this point now, have you given up and just put them in bags? And are you good at wrapping presents?
I can be okay, but I usually kind of rush through it. I do wrap them. I'm going to continue to wrap them. I was just looking at my presents today for my youngest, who this is the first official year, and she's like, oh, by the way, Santa's still giving me presents, right? I'm like, yeah. So she's still holding on to that, which is great. But I'm going to wrap them. Yeah, because it's fun to unwrap presents.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I got presents for people, I would probably wrap them.
But-
I'm a very good wrapper, and I used to wrap presents. I am actually very good at wrapping
I'm sure
presents.
you are, because you are a very detail-orientated, is that the right way to say it, person?
I'm anal. Yes, you could say it.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But yes. All right. Next. Real tree or fake tree? Is it a personal preference or is it just convenience?
All
And
right.
what do you do?
For many, I haven't done anything for years, but for about 15 years, I did a real tree. I enjoyed the process. I liked picking it out. I liked the smell, the whole 9 yards. I don't know if I'll ever do it again, but growing up, obviously, we didn't do that. We had ugly,
worst
shitty trees.
Ugly.
Yeah.
We had a fake
Cheap.
tree, but
Yeah.
it was ugly. Like there were ugly trees. It wasn't white. It
No.
wasn't glitter colored, thank
No.
God. But it didn't look real.
Yeah, and there were people that you knew that you'd be like, oh, look at that. That looks like, and a lot of them, of course, really, you go like, oh, that's not real because it's perfect.
Yes.
And you go, but at least you go, oh, that I guess could be a perfect looking
If
tree.
you took one branch of it and said that branch looks realistic as
Mhm.
opposed to the setup of the tree.
Right.
But some of these, they look like skeletons
Yeah.
with like a couple of things on it. But we had a really full tree. The branches just looked like squirrel tails. I don't know. They were just like really
It was
thick
bad.
and bristly. It was a bad tree.
And I still have a lot of the frugalness of way we grew up, because I'll still look at, like, even I'm sure you probably had a tree with your kids that was a $500 tree that kind of would make me go, I can't believe anyone would spend or 200 or even 300 like years ago. I'd be
Mhm.
like, that's so much money. And even right now, you look at some of these stuff, I'm like, I still can't see why people would do that. But they must love it.
You're absolutely right, except for this. I had a $500 tree. I got it for $200 after Christmas at Sears when it was still open because they had a huge Christmas section. And right after Christmas, everything went on sale. So I was tired of the ugly tree. I said, ooh, I'm going to get a good one now.
And it lasts forever.
And it lasted forever.
Yeah. So that's the one very good thing about getting an expensive tree.
And it was
will last forever.
it looked, my tree actually looked real. I was like Chevy Chase Christmas Vacation. I put 3 times as many lights so you could hardly see the branches anyway. It was completely covered in ornaments, but at least it looked okay. Next question. Do you eat fruitcake?
Not normally, but I would. I haven't had it in years, and the last time I saw it, I think, like a lot of things I see, I go, oh, let me try this. Let me see if I like it now.
And
I don't think I've ever had one that made me really want to have another piece. I've probably also never had what's considered really good fruitcake.
great answer, because here's the problem with me. I want to say about a dozen years ago, I hated fruitcake. Every time I had it, I'm like, it's kind of weird. The consistency of it is always off. About 12 years ago, I had a real fruitcake. And it might have been real. It might have been fake fruitcake, but it was a fruitcake that was given to me
That
that
you
was
loved.
real. It tasted fantastic. It was more like a date nut bread with the fruit in it and whatever. It wasn't like this solid kind of strange protein bar or whatever they are.
I think I've only ever seen the ones that are like not even
Little
3
loaves.
inches. So like 2.5 by 2.5 inches, like kind of like little blocks.
Yeah, so the last episode we talked about Eagle Island. They have 4 different kinds over there. I've had every one.
Okay, they suck or what?
I mean, I've had every one
Okay,
there,
right.
and I'm not
Gonna go
recommending to go back
Okay,
to those.
curious. Okay.
So I'm still looking for the good one to literally take my phone out, take a picture of that brand, and say, this is a real fruitcake, order it, and I would buy it and bring it to somebody's house gladly and say, you hate fruitcake, try this one because it's different.
So you just don't know what you didn't do it then.
12 years ago?
Right.
No.
Gotcha. You didn't care
technology,
enough.
I'm lucky.
Right.
I'm lucky I took a picture of anything.
Right.
Next question. Which do you prefer, Christmas Eve or Christmas Day?
I don't like the Christmas Eve dinner as much, but at the same time, as I've gotten older, I've grown to appreciate it much more, which is the 7 fishes or whatever, which I still, the guys will ask me and they'll be like, oh, what are the fishes again? And I forget what they are. And,
It's any 7 fishes, as long as it's 7 different ones.
And a shellfish is still considered a fish, even though most people will say it's not, but there's damn fish in the name.
Technically, it's a bug, but whatever.
As a kid, Christmas Eve was the greatest day because it was about going over to Aunt Phyllis's. It was about having food over, having your first dinner, then having dessert, then having another dinner after that because they'd take out the old food and then maybe have a ham or something like that. And then you'd go to like a late church thing, which was very interesting to go like, oh, wow, it's midnight. And we'd be getting home really late.
And
that
we had so many cousins.
was great.
We did a Kris Kringle after that. We did so many different things. But once again, it was like a 10-hour experience.
Yeah.
But now it's Christmas or it's Christmas Eve.
I mean, Christmas Day is just good for an hour and a half.
Right.
You know, if that, like you eat some good food in the morning and do whatever. So I probably still prefer Christmas Eve. The excitement of giving, it hasn't happened yet. The prep that you need to put into it if you haven't done it yet, it's still fun.
Yes.
So yeah, Christmas Eve.
Okay. Next question. What's your favorite Christmas cookie?
I don't think I have a favorite Christmas cookie. Not that I can really think of right now. I do like a good in our family. You make it a really good anisette cookie, right? That's what they're called.
They're called Jeanettes. In our family, they're called Jeanettes. In other places, they're called anisette cookies or different.
See, I don't remember anyone ever called them Jeanettes in our family.
I didn't know that until I started making them because I got the recipe and I said, "Oh, you're talking about Jeanettes."
And it's a dry, generally still even when it's done well and it's not dry, it's still dry.
Yes.
It's still definitely a dry cookie. And on Christmas, we would never have those cookies that had like the jelly filling, the elongated. Was that a Christmas cookie?
You're talking about the rainbow cookies?
No,
or
not the rainbow.
You're talking about the long cookies that are dipped in chocolate and sprinkles.
And then
and
they
the
have a
Italian
jelly
cookies,
in the middle.
yes.
Yeah, an Italian
Yes.
cookie. Like
Yes.
if that was a Christmas cookie, that would be one of my favorite cookies.
Okay.
Still is. Also another dry cookie.
Yeah.
You know? But I don't know. What were yours?
Mine, anisette cookies by far, because I loved them. The problem was I never had the recipe. And my mom, who's a fantastic cook, and she'll never listen to this podcast, so I could say it here because I make fun of her cooking all the time. She's a fantastic cook, but she doesn't go by recipes. And she's older, so she just says, a little of this, a little of that. So she gave me the recipe for anisette cookies. And by the way, I'm going to make fun of you because you said black licorice and you don't like licorice that much, whatever.
Yeah,
but that's licorice flavor, 100%.
Yeah, it's not very strong. And yeah.
She would leave out ingredients. So every year the cookies came out a little bit different, either dry or powdery, or the icing didn't have enough flavor or whatever. And
the worst sprinkles you could ever put on a cookie, they should not have.
They're hard. They break your teeth.
They're awful.
Yeah, but that's just for decoration, by the way. It's not in the recipe. It's not supposed to be there.
Right.
And her mom and the rest of the family never made it like that. And the other one is rainbow cookies. I never made rainbow cookies. They come out at Christmas time. They are my favorite.
They come out of okay. I didn't know that
they're
they
a
were
Christmas cookie technically.
Okay, I guess because of the colors. And those cookies are very good.
Next question is, do you drink eggnog?
Yes,
spiked
love it.
or not?
I've had it spiked, but I would drink eggnog right now if you gave me a glass.
Okay.
Happily.
But can you drink it with
with alcohol? I
with
can.
Christmas dinner?
No, why would
So
I?
it's just like a little bit.
It's dessert. But yeah, I'm a big fan of eggnog.
When you go Christmas shopping, do you end up getting more for yourself than for other people?
No, not at all. I've gone Christmas shopping so far and I haven't gotten anything for myself.
I'm guilty. I mean, and I saw my kids do it this year because they all got on their laptops on the couch together and they're talking about, oh, they're on this website and that website and ordering on Amazon and this, that, and the other thing. Oh, check this out, check this out. They're like, what do you like? Oh, I want this. Oh, okay, I'll get you that for Christmas. Ding, 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 and the quantity's 3. You're like, what are you doing? Oh, I like that too. I'm going to order 2 for myself. What? So they were my kids, definitely, because I go out and used to go all the time to all the stores and get bags of stuff, or go to the outlets and get bags of stuff for Christmas. And sure enough, it'd be like 2 bags for everybody else and 2 or 3 bags for myself.
Well, you love to shop. I personally really like to shop too. Like if I were to go like clothes shopping, I'm like, hell yeah. I'm going to go out and I'm going to change my outfit. But that's because I could never do that as a younger person. So that's still something I really get joy out of, because at 15 or 16, I wasn't working hard enough to buy anything that was name brand. I didn't manage my money well. And now I'm like, oh, look at that. I could buy jeans and I don't have to worry about them being too expensive.
Okay, so when you buy gifts for other people, do you give them the receipt? Meaning like a gift receipt, you know what I'm saying?
I don't usually buy for other people except for my kids. And now if my kids are older, honestly, I'm not buying anything. I might buy concert tickets, but oftentimes it'll be like, more often than not, cash.
I'd rather you re-gift my gift than ask me where I got it and if I got to return it. If it's the wrong size, lie to me. Fine. Oh, I needed a different size or something like that. But I try, damn it. I try to get a gift that somebody's going to like. And if you don't like it, lie. I'll get insulted. I do. I'm like, I thought about this, and I really think you'd like this shirt. I actually go shop. I'm a clothes whore. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me, but I shirts and different things.
Yeah.
I like to dress in my own style, whatever it is, and it may be stylish, it may not be, but I'm like, oh, you know what? All the time, I'm like, I think Brian would like that shirt. You know what?
But you
I get him. But then I'm like, no. But then I'm like, I'm not gonna get him a shirt because he's gonna be like, the hell, you trying to dress me up? But at Christmas time I would. But Christmas time I would, but not like it every day. But I'm like, oh shit, I should just buy one and give it to you for Christmas and say here. And then if you don't like it, just lie to me.
Okay, now I know that. But you also know that we have such different styles. I'm so basic. And
I'm not talking about that either. I know exactly. I'm literally think I have your style.
Well, it's pretty basic. You should.
It's basic, but a little bit more edge to it.
You gotta dress me how you think. This is nice. A little edge to it.
No, just what I mean, like a little more, yes.
Yeah.
Not crooner, like other.
Okay.
Do you stay up and open gifts Christmas Eve at midnight, or you always wait for Christmas morning?
Oh, well, you know what we did as kids? And we never did anything. It was always Christmas morning.
It was always Christmas morning.
Yep.
So is anything new now, or no? You kept it that way?
No, I kept it that way.
I love to do it Christmas Eve. I don't always do it, but I have done it a couple of times.
All of it on Christmas Eve.
Because
so you don't have to. I mean, it makes sense.
To be honest with you, don't have to get up early in the morning anymore.
I mean, that makes
the
sense.
Kids aren't, they're a little bit older, whatever. Plus, most of the gifts, it's like here, or this is what's coming, or hey, here's money. I don't know.
Right.
But it's just a matter of, okay, it's Christmas Eve. I'm in the celebration mode right there. The next morning, I'm half asleep. I'm getting up. And typically, I'm getting on a plane to go somewhere anyway. So I usually try and do it the night before.
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that. I get why people do it, but never did it.
2 questions left. What do you typically watch on Christmas Day? On TV?
Well, I have one thing that comes to mind, the very stereotypical, I'm forgetting the name of it. Yeah, it's the
It's
one
a
with the
Wonderful
kid.
Life.
You shoot your eye out, kid.
Okay.
Because
Christmas
it
Carol.
plays, and it's a Christmas
24.
Carol. That is
it's
it.
24.
Yeah.
24/7.
Yeah.
It's on a loop.
And it works for me. I don't ever sit down and watch the whole thing, but I still get a kick out of it, man. That the acting in the whole damn movie still holds up perfectly.
The dad is
it really
amazing.
does. The dad's great. Everyone's great in
Yeah.
it. The fact that they made the other one that piece of dog shit that they put out with that dude. I'm glad the guy worked. I'm glad he's getting some money and doing whatever. That's fantastic. But that movie was a piece of shit in comparison to the original.
I mean, I think he got $12 for the original one. He probably got
Right.
ripped off by his agent
Of
and
course,
everybody else
I'm
in the
sure.
world.
Yeah, but still, it wasn't worth making as far as
So
I'm
you do
concerned.
Christmas movies because sports is big, and also the Disney Magical Parade every Christmas.
I don't watch that.
I'm just saying.
Okay, I'm just saying I just don't.
I typically don't watch the parade, but I do watch sports. I look forward to sports. I'm just fascinated by the fact that these professional athletes who get paid all this money, they got to get up and they got to try and gear up for a game on Christmas.
Yeah.
Typically, it's the NBA, could be college football, could be something else, but they're now away for Christmas if they're traveling on the road or whatever.
But didn't Mahomes just give shit? He got shit for giving shit about there being football games on Christmas Day. Is that
Maybe.
actually happening? Because I mean, I want to say a couple of weeks ago I heard, he's just like he thinks it's ridiculous, which it is.
It is very
It
ridiculous.
is ridiculous. Look at
The
these
reason
people
why
freaking off.
it's ridiculous this year is because it's a Wednesday. this professional football on a Wednesday.
Yes,
and he's playing.
Yeah, and he
So
said
that's why
that
he's like, I got 3 games in
10 days. Exactly, that's it.
That's crazy.
It is bullshit.
So I typically watch sports. I do like the NBA. I know a lot of people don't like the NBA. They like college better because they're playing for something. Yes, but those college players who are awesome, they go to the NBA and they become great players. So I do like watching NBA. Last but not least, what would you do if it was your perfect Christmas day?
All right, that's a very hard question. I couldn't even, but I will tell you one thing that I would prefer, and it's not even close to perfect. I would prefer that it be cold on Christmas Day. It's not perfect. It's not. I have no idea what a perfect Christmas day would be. Probably
Like,
not
what would you
being
do on
woken
your
up.
perfect Christmas day? Not wake up?
Yeah, like not wake up really early, which I'm probably not going to have to do this year. Maybe take a nap and not be annoyed when I wake up from it.
Exactly. I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Christmas it's a lot of stress to get to Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And it's like just to be this perfect day. And then it's like, oh crap, now I got to work. Okay. Did everybody get their presents? Okay. All right, let's clean up the wrapping paper. Okay. If you got little kids, you're like, okay, they're not going to choke on this. Not going to do this. Not going to do that. Okay. Oh, they're not going to, it's not broken. Is it? Is it broken? Do I have to put anything together? Do I have anything else?
Right.
Oh, are people coming over? Do I got to clean up everything? And kids, come on, put the toys that we gave you to go crazy with away. What do? My perfect Christmas? I do it every year. I get the hell out of town. That's it. I've decided Christmas is fantastic. I love the holiday. I celebrate on a Christmas Eve now, Christmas Day. I do what I have to do, and I just jet out of here. That's it.
And I can get behind that in the future. We'll see.
Yeah, I know.
Like, that's a
I
good
love it.
idea.
I really do love it because
You
the
probably
stress is
travel
right
cheaper
before.
too, right?
I travel a lot cheaper.
Yeah,
I
it's
travel
great.
a lot cheaper.
Why not?
It's just one of those things where you like, who's flying on Christmas Day? This guy.
yeah.
Every year, this guy.
You and a bunch of other people smiling their ass off.
I know.
You're like, yeah, let's go. Unless they're going to visit family and like, shit, now I got to fly halfway through the country just to go say hi to somebody because they're going to get a guilt trip.
Yeah. Well, I want to say Merry Christmas to everybody and best wishes to all who have to deal with health issues and family issues. Just hope everybody has a great holiday, and I hope it goes well and be safe. And it's okay to dance on the edge. Just don't fall off. That's it.